This is commentary on Review 5 in the Workbook for A Course in Miracles. This is a very interesting review. It's one of the few places in the course that in the workbook that Jesus speaks in the first person. And he's speaking from actually two voices, and there's a unique attitude that we're to develop in this practice. The two voices that he's speaking in is one as a world teacher who realized his true self of love, or what the Course calls the Christ, and having realized that, he returns back into this seeming world that we seem to be in to teach us to have the same experience. And the other voice that he speaks in is to us as an elder brother who has gone through this process, and he's going to show us now how to attain that same experience of this true self of love. And so that's the main focus in all these practices, is to have that experience of a true self of love. But the interesting attitude that we would have in our practice here and in doing the workbook and in doing the course is that we're actually helping him complete that process of this Christ self, of this self of love, realize its true nature, and that's being done through us, so that when we remember this true self of love, we're part of his process of remembering that or knowing that and actually completing that. So watch for that in this review, that idea of him leading us, but we're also helping him in that job of the Christ remembering himself. So all of these lessons in this review, there are 10 days. We had one yesterday. All of the lessons are in this commentary, and so you can refer to them from here or from your book, but you can use this commentary for all the reviews. Okay, so let's go through this. We now review again. This time we're ready to give more effort and more time to what we undertake. We recognize we're preparing for another phase of understanding, and we would take this step completely that we may go on again more certain, more sincere, with faith held up more surely. Our footsteps have not been unwavering, and doubts have made us walk uncertainly and slowly on the road this course sets forth. But now we hasten on for an approach to a greater certainty and a firmer purpose and a surer goal. So this relates to the fact that this learning is a process. It's a process that we decide how fast we're going to do it, and that in this review we can speed along our development as a student by looking at gaining a new experience of this self. So it acknowledges our doubts, it acknowledges our lack of faith, our lack of efforts, and so one of the goals is to firm up those efforts, to practice more and more the thought system the Course is setting forth. So then there's a prayer here that Jesus speaks for all of us in focusing on the help that we need. So it goes, "Steady our feet, our Father, let our doubts be quiet and our holy minds be still, and speak to us. We have no words to give you. We would but listen to your word and make it ours. Lead our practicing as does a father lead a little child along a way he does not understand. Yet does he follow, sure he is safe, because his father leads the way for him." So this is getting us comfortable to a place of don't know. That's okay. That's what it means to be a student. You don't know. To be comfortable with that, and to recognize that there's help there that is strong, that we can depend upon that strength. And this idea that we have no words to give to you is an attitude of coming open-hearted, open-handed, and willing to listen. And willing because we know there's something inside of us that knows more than we do about this process and this learning. And so prayer continues, "So do we bring our practicing to you, and if we stumble, you will raise us up. If we forget the way, we count upon your sure remembering. We wander off, but you will not forget to call us back. Quicken our footsteps now, that we may walk more certainly and quickly unto you. And we accept the word you offer us to unify our practicing as we review the thoughts you have given us. So that's really comforting to know that we're just not relying on our strength alone, that there's something inside of us that will keep us on track. There's something inside of us that will help us remember, to give us the confidence. It's a very comforting idea. So now we accept the word you offer us. That is going to be the idea or the theme in this set of reviews that we're going to focus on. So he's going to describe that word or that thought. This is the thought which should precede the thoughts we review. Each one but clarifies some aspect of this thought or helps it be more meaningful, more personal and true, and more descriptive of the holy self we share and now prepare to know again. So this is the thought: God is but love, and therefore so am I. And so the idea is that God or reality is love, and just that, nothing else. And since that love is everything, it has to include us, and therefore we are that thought of love. So that's the main idea that runs through this whole review. And as he says, as we review each lesson that we review will help us understand this main thought a little better, make it more personal, more true. So as we do each of these lessons, we want to have this thought: God is but love, and therefore so am I, to be at the center of our mind. And each of the lessons we review will help this thought be more true to us, more understandable to us. So he goes on to describe this self. This self alone knows love. This self alone is perfectly consistent in its thoughts, knows its creator, understands itself, is perfect in its knowledge and its love, and never changes from its constant state of union with its Father and itself. So this is describing us as we really are, as the true self of oneness that never forgot who it was never in conflict, but just knows exactly what it is. All right, and so it is this that waits to meet us at the journey's ending. So that's what's saying. This is our goal, is to remember that self of love. This is what's waiting for us. And so every step we take brings us a little nearer. This review will shorten time immeasurably if you keep in mind that this remains our goal. And as we practice, it is to this to which we are approaching. So setting this goal: this is my goal. I want to remember that self of love. I want to know that that's what I am. And so having that as the goal, then that will help us understand all of the means, all of the practices that we do that will make it more understandable when we understand that's the goal. So let us lift our hearts from dust to life, which means let us remove our ideas of a self of ego, and let us lift our hearts to that truer self, to that reality, to what life really is. And as we remember, this is promised us, and that this course was sent to open up the path of light to us and teach us step by step how to return to the eternal self we thought we lost. Okay, so that's the goal in this lesson, to remember that true self, and each lesson will make a contribution to us understanding that true self of love. And so now here's where Jesus describes his process as a teacher and a guide, that he's actually practicing with us and helping us practice, because he's the model. He's the one who's accomplished the learning we're seeking here. What we're trying to learn in the course, Jesus has already learned it, and he's going to model and guide us and teach us to have that same experience. So I take the journey with you, for I share your doubts and fears a little while, that you may come to me, who recognize the road by which all fears and doubts are overcome. So he's just saying his empathy is necessary. He has to understand where we're at, and because he does that, we'll be able to come to him and learn. So we walk together. I must understand uncertainty and pain, although I know they have no meaning. Yet a Savior must remain with those he teaches, seeing what they see, but still retaining in his mind the way that led him out, and now will lead you out with him. God's Son is crucified until you walk along the road with me. So that's the sense of self, that we're here, we'll experience this sense of suffering, this sense of lack, all of these things, thinking that that's part of life, that our suffering is what we need to go through. and we'll remain in that until we get this truer goal about what salvation is. Salvation is not about going through suffering or going through pain. It's about remembering who we are. So he goes on to describe the process again. My resurrection comes again each time I lead a brother safely to the place at which the journey ends and is forgot. I am renewed each time a brother learns there's a way from misery and pain. I am reborn each time a brother's mind turns to the light in him and looks for me. I have forgotten no one. Help me now to lead you back to where the journey was begun and to make another choice with me. So this is this idea that our problem was what is the separation. It was a choice we made to be a false self and live out that false self. And now what we want to do is join with Jesus and go back to that point in our mind where that decision was made and make another decision for the Course's thought system, for the Holy Spirit's thought system. So we have to back up, come back to this place of the mind. And that's what our practices are, is coming inside, coming to that holy instant, making a decision to have a truer experience of who we are. So he goes on to say, release me as you practice once again the thoughts I brought you from him who sees your bitter need and knows the answer God has given him. So that's the Holy Spirit. So together we review these thoughts, together we devote our time and effort to them, and together we will teach them to our brothers. So he's speaking as a peer, as a brother, as a fellow course student, that he's actually practicing with us as a peer, but also as the teacher. So God would not have heaven incomplete. It waits for you as I do. I am incomplete without your part in me, and as I am made whole, we go together to our ancient home, prepared for us before time was and kept unchanged by time, immaculate and safe as it will be at last when time is done. Let this review be then your gift to me. For this alone I need, that you will hear the words I speak and give them to the world. You are my voice, my eyes, my feet, my hands, through which I save the world. The self from which I call to you is but your own. To him we go together, and take your brother's hands, for this is not a way we walk alone. In him I walk with you, and you with me. And so this is the idea that God, or that Jesus, is outside of time. He no longer has a body, but that we do, and that our body can be used as a communication instrument to communicate this path of the atonement, this path of salvation, forgiveness, all the different ways that we can be a demonstration of that. And that is how Jesus will help save the world, help save people, is through us, through our choice to be a teacher of God and demonstrate that self of love. Our Father wills his Son be one with him, and what lives but must not be one with you. So again, this is the analog of oneness, that this learning that we have is meant to be shared with everyone. The demonstration of love of ourself to ourself is not just for us, it's for others. It's something that we share with them. It's something that we will help them have too, just as we're being helped by Jesus in this review. So let this review become a time in which we share a new experience for you, yet one as old as time and older still. Hallowed your name, your glory undefiled forever, and your wholeness now complete as God established it. You are his Son, completing his extension in your own. We practice but an ancient truth we knew before illusions seemed to claim the world, and we remind the world that it is free of all illusions every time we say, God is but love, and therefore so am I. And so the imagery there is that in our practice we are actually joined with everyone, and that in our practice of saying this idea, God is but love, and therefore so am I, we're actually sharing this thought with everyone. We're trying to share this experience with everyone. And so now he goes to describe the times of our practice. With this we start each day of our review, and with this we start and end each practice period with this thought, God is but love, and therefore so am I. And then at the end of the day, we take this thought when we sleep to waken once again with these same words upon our lips to greet another day. So the morning and evening practices, we use this, and we take all of the thought. So we have we take all the thoughts, all the lessons we're reviewing, and we surround those lessons with this thought: God is but love, and therefore so am I. And we use the thoughts to hold it up before our minds and clear in our remembrance throughout the day. So each of these lessons will help us remember this thought or make this thought truer: God is but love, and therefore so am I. And thus, when we have finished this review, we will have recognized the words we speak are true. Yet are the words but aids to be used except at the beginning and the end of practice periods, but to recall the mind as needed to its purpose. We place faith in the experience that comes from practice, not the means we use. We wait for the experience and recognize that it is only here conviction lies. We use the words and try again to go beyond them to their meaning, which is far beyond their sound. The sound grows dim and disappears as we approach the source of meaning. It is here that we find rest. All right, so then we're going to go through each of these lessons in this review. We'll take 2 every day, and then take each of, so just for instance, so this was yesterday's, so this would be today's. We're reviewing 2 lessons. In my defenselessness, my safety lies. I am among the ministers of God. And so as we do each one, we first say this line: God is but love, and therefore so am I. And then we think this thought: in my defenselessness, my safety lies. I'm among the ministers of God. God is but love, and therefore so am I. So each of these thoughts is an aspect of this one thought: God is but love, and therefore so am I. And so we'll go through all of these. This is the one for today, and then lesson one, and the next one is these 2, and on till we get through the 20 for the next 9 days. Okay, that's it for today. Thank you.